Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Tailored Expressions. I'm super excited to share this super sweet card with you today using the Sweet Shop Stamp and Stencil combo. Now here is the clear stamp. It's got all the little details for the cupcake. You've got the little die that I'm going to be using, the larger stencil for the larger cupcakes. This is the rotating sprinkles stencil, ovals masking stencil, get the word out, celebrate stamp and coordinating die, the mini strips birthday stamp set, the mini strips die, the Petite scallop rectangle, foam sticky strips and 3D foam squares. I'm using strawberry milkshake, candy corn, lemon meringue, mint julep, confetti cake, lavender glaze, and cupcake, gold and white embossing powders, my powder tool, my Versamark ink, the hearts, bits and pieces, my acrylic block, and my bitty blender brushes. Now I already die cut the larger cupcakes and I placed them back into the negative space of my sugar cube cardstock, and I just have that laying down on my work surface. I'm going to use those two pieces for the cupcake. That smaller piece is the actual cake itself, and then of course you have the top piece, which is the frosting. So this is going to be the bottom cupcake. We're going to make a big layered cupcake with a ton of different color frosting. So I'm going to start by using the chocolate truffle ink for my chocolate cupcake. So I'm just going to use my bitty blender brush and just blend that on, and you can see where it lines up, just the shape of it lines up on your die cut. You could do this first and then die cut. I just found that this would be easier for me. Now I'm going to come in with the first color of frosting, and this is strawberry milkshake, and you can see at the top of the screen there I have all of the colors laid out, and this is the order from the bottom to the top that I am going to be doing ink blending, and this is also how I'm going to layer them on the finished image. So I'm just going to keep coming in, just doing ink blending. I'm not really worried about inking all the way up the top because we're going to be cutting this apart to give us the different layers of colored frosting. The very last cupcake I do need to color all the way up to the top because that frosting is going to have all that cute frosting that swirls all the way up. So I'm using strawberry milkshake, candy corn, lemon meringue, mint julep, that's the one right there, confetti cake, lavender glaze, and cupcake. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I just found that it was easier having these in my negative space. They kind of didn't move around too much. So that was just easier for me to ink this up. So now after this lavender glaze, I'm going to finish with the cupcake, and I'm going to ink this all the way up. At first I forgot I needed to ink this all the way up to the top, so I kind of took it out and went, oh, wait a minute, I need to ink that all the way up. And now we've got these great colored frostings. Now, starting for the background, I have a piece of sugar cube cardstock, A2 sized, and I'm using confetti cake and the largest of the ovals masking stencil, and I'm lightly adding color to the outside. This is the rotating sprinkle stencils, so I'm going to be using cupcake and strawberry milkshake, alternating these colors. I am starting off with the writing on the stencil at the bottom of my card panel. I'm going to ink that up. Then I'm going to remove it and just turn it 90 degrees to the right. So now my writing will be on the left-hand side. I'm going to come in with my next color and ink up this section. So as you rotate this all the way around, it's going to fill in the spaces. I'm going to rotate this another 90 degrees. So the writing on my stencil should be at the top of my card. Coming back in with my I'm alternating between the two colors, so I'm coming in with that color again, inking up, and I like the bitty blender brushes because it really gets into those small details. Now this is the last rotation, and the writing should be on the right-hand side of my card panel. I'm just going to ink this up, and I liked these two colors of pink. They are very similar, but you still can see a little bit of a difference, and I kind of just wanted it to be really soft in the background. I'm going to come back in with that confetti cake and just add a little bit more color around the edges, and I did not add it to the center. Now let's add some detail to the bottom cupcake. So I'm taking the little stripe part for the cupcake holder from the clear stamp set. I'm prepping my card panel with my powder tool. I'm going to ink up my stamp with the Versamark ink, You could do this in your Misty, but it was just easy enough to use an acrylic block. And then I'm coming in with some gold embossing powder. I thought the gold and white would be super, super cute against all of the colors of frosting. Now here is the top cupcake piece, and I'm going to come in with the largest little polka dots, prepping that again with my powder tool, using Versamark ink to ink this up. This is clear embossing ink. Then coming in with some white embossing powder for some white sprinkles. I'm going to sprinkle that on and come in with my heat tool and heat that until it is melted. Now in my Misty, I have a piece of confetti cake cardstock, and I am using the Get the Word Out stamp set, and I will be using the coordinating die. This word is Celebrate. Inking that up with my Versamark ink after I prepped my cardstock with the powder tool, and I am going to do some heat embossing with the white embossing powder. I thought that would be really pretty against the confetti cake cardstock. I'm going to heat that through and then come in with the coordinating die. Just place that over and use some low tack tape to tape that down and run that through my die cut machine, and then we will have a great die cut sentiment. Now this is the mini strips birthday. I have a piece of sugar cube cardstock in my Misty, prepping this with my powder tool. I love these stamps because this has a ton of sentiments, and you can see the little squares there. Those are going to be your registration marks to line up your coordinating die. Inking that with a Versamark ink, coming in with the gold embossing powder, doing the same thing, just heating that until it is melted, and you'll know it's melted because it will be nice and shiny. Then I'm using the coordinating die. This is the mini strips die, and you can see those little squares. I'm going to line those up with the embossed squares on the side, tape that down, and run that through my die cut machine. This is the Petite Scallop rectangle. This is the largest one. I'm going to tape that in place on that inked background, or that stenciled background, and just cut around, and we're going to have this cute little scalloped edge to our card. Now I'm going to start cutting apart my cupcake. The first one I cut apart was the top piece. I want the whole piece. The rest of these I'm cutting just that bottom layer, top and bottom. That's the only piece that I need, is that largest bottom layer. Now I have my bottom piece, which is the pink, and I'm going to start going up in order. So I've got the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, and then the other kind of purpley pink. And I'm just gluing that together, so we've just got this long, tall, yummy frosting, tons of frosting on this cupcake. I used the foam sticky strips behind my card panel and also behind this tall cupcake, and I'm going to center that kind of up towards the top of my oval, and then some foam sticky strips behind the Celebrate, and then I'm going to come in with 3D foam squares for that smaller sentiment. Those have a little bit lower profile, so it gives it a little bit of different dimension, which is also going to add interest to your card. Using a little bit of liquid glue and adding 2 of the red hearts from the Bits and Pieces hearts, like little cherries, and then coming in with my white gel pen to add some detail to the layers of frosting. And then this card is finished, and it's so super cute. This Sweet Shop stamp and stencil combo is super darling. You can find all of these products at the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com. Bye!